To the vulnerable in the society, and key among the vulnerable in the society are persons with disability. So we are happy to join in this conversation where we get to ensure and enhance inclusivity for all in the public spaces. From the introduction, I see a lot of both state and non-state actors who actually do play a role in this conversation. So my first point on this is encouraging non-motorized systems where it is okay for us to walk, it is okay for us to cycle bicycles, it is okay for us to carpool. We don't have to always come to town in a vehicle. And once we take that into consideration, we will create pedestrian-friendly streets. As he mentioned, there's a very big difference between the lower town and the upper town. We see a lot of pedestrian walks in the upper side of the central business center, while at this lower side there are no proper pedestrian walks, and thus, especially for persons with disability and children with disability. And as we talk about children with disability, let us remember they are vulnerable to the extent that they need caregivers for them to move from one place to the other. So a mother who has a child on a wheelchair or on their back, really in such a crowded environment where they do not have space to move, it becomes really difficult to move around. Let us dedicate cycling lanes. They are specific for cycling so that we have them. We take care of the boda person, we take care of both motorbike and motorcycle. The bicycle, the bicycle and the boda. Is it making a difference? The boda for cycling and the one that's yeah. So my next point is on safety and security. Really, we encourage. For instance, where we find a huge gap, there are limited or no street lights or lighting along the footpaths, the bridges. And you know, an ordinary person can run through a busy street, but a person with disability has to access that footbridge to cross over that busy highway from one side to the other. Could we have lighting? And as we talk about an eco-friendly system, could we encourage solar lighting? As we also talk on disability, there is the physical disability and there is the neuro disability. So as we do lighting, could we consider, and that also falls under the part on signage, do we consider disability like autism, where if we have high luminous intense, it causes triggers to this autistic person? Those are some of the things that we should be discussing. As we talk about accessibility into buildings, do we have ramps? Do we have lifts? Do we have enough spaces, like this door space is enough for someone with mobility constraints to be able to easily access this hall? Those are some of the factors. Are we in a well ventilated and well lit room? On signage again, I have also heard of stakeholders in the public transport industry. We even from here we can hear shouting by the touts on the places where the matatu is going to. Dandora or Kibera or wherever. But do you remember there are deaf people, there are deaf pedestrians who don't hear. So as they walk towards that bus stop, they are not able to hear, they maybe rely on the signage. Do we still put the signages on? On the signages as well, I'm happy to have our engineers on board. Do you remember as we put up billboards, the flickering of lights? Even at the traffic lights, there are those lights that are still in transit. As we make Nairobi work, as we enhance dignity, Article 28 of the Constitution ensures that dignity is an inherent right for every person. And by every person under mobility constraints, we are also remembering the elderly amongst us. My points are just for us all to ensure an inclusive transport system where it is possible to move right from my house, go do my businesses, and come back with ease. As a person with disability, I talk more about people with disability. I am not a person with disability, but I advocate for their rights because they are the vulnerable in our society. The elderly amongst us, they are vulnerable in our society. So, my clarion call, let us all embrace the universal access of transport systems. As we walk, we need to have tactile services in our buildings, along our roads. We need to have ramps that are accessible. We were anticipating for a meal. I don't know how prepared this county was. But in our anticipation, we probably were looking at drainages, and as we were looking at the road terrain, as we were factoring in drainages, but we're also factoring in someone who's having mobility constraint while walking on that road. As we're designing pedestrian walks, are they designed on the same street, same side, or I have to get to a place, then I cross over the road, I carry on with that pedestrian walk. It should be a clear and direct pedestrian walk. As we are talking about pedestrians on the road, do we remember the safety issue or aspect that comes in with controlling the street vendors? So that we have allocated spaces for the street vendors, we have allocated spaces for parking, we have allocated spaces for pedestrians along the road. That is our clarion call to us all, and that's our